I know you guys have been asking what happened to the trailer park. So in today's video, we're going to break down the last 4 years worth of disasters that we've had here at the park and explain to you why I accepted an offer 2 weeks ago to sell the whole entire trailer park.
So for 2019, we bought a park. The seller carried $100,000 in finance, and we only had to pony up $225,000.
But within 3 days of me closing on this trailer park, the disasters started to happen. Just 2 trailers down from where I'm standing right now, there was an old trailer with a drug dealing tenant. My phone was blowing up while I was at church, people saying, "We think somebody's died down here." Long story short, no one got hurt, no one died, but it did reinforce concerns that I had before I went into this project that I might not be prepared to deal with tenants. Issues started compounding really quickly. Let me show you. Where in one of my very first YouTube videos on this trailer park, I discovered a individual who was wanted in the state of Kentucky for de-lifing somebody. We have to say that due to monetization standards here on YouTube. Beyond that, I thought that I had one of the best real estate deals right after the trailer park. I discovered that in Columbus, Ohio, there was a large trailer park that was being bulldozed. And I was able to go and purchase a total of 29 trailers for less than $10,000 a piece, picked up and delivered here to my trailer park. I spent $290,000 on relocating trailers from Columbus, Ohio, and that's when a lot worse problems started to show up.
March 2020, COVID hit, and everything shut down. We had all these new trailers delivered, but the big problem is they weren't set up and they weren't approved for occupancy at that point. The permit office in Columbus, Ohio was shut down. We were at a total standstill. We were starting to incur a lot of extra costs with running our private wastewater facility, costs with dealing with other tenants, taxes, some levels of insurance, and then people decided they just weren't going to pay rent anymore.
So very quickly, I discovered the bills were really adding up. I purchased the trailer park for $325,000. We put 29 trailers in it for another $300,000. That's about $625,000 by that point, and we have to spend another $35,000 to $40,000 just on rocks. But wait, there's more. We found out pretty quickly that a lot of the trailers here at the park that we had brought down from Columbus looked like this. I don't know what happened, but several trailers got switched on me. I kind of hold true to about half of the trailers were switched out on me from their transport in Columbus down here. Coronavirus looked to be maybe a blessing in disguise, then the reality hit me. There was an eviction moratorium that prevented me from getting out the last 2 or 3 really problematic tenants here at the trailer park. It was absolutely insane. I got hammered with the inability to kick out my bad tenants, the cost of all materials and labors exploding, and my ability to obtain new financing or new money for the trailer park almost dried up. Money became a lot harder to get. But by the end of 2020, I thought that I had great news. A local community organization had received $25 million in funding from the federal government to put people in homes. They offered to rent the whole entire trailer park, every single trailer that I had available for their organization. It was a dream come true. And over the course of a 6-month period, they started off wanting to rent the whole trailer park, then the back half. Then they wanted to rent one trailer off of me. Then they started asking me if they could just pay 2 months in advance to a tenant who had no job, was recently evicted, and hope that they would be good for the rent money later. So I found out that I put a lot of eggs in a basket of a government organization who said that they were good to rent the whole entire trailer park. We knew that the government organization was kaput. They weren't going to stick any money in my pocket, and I had wasted about half of 2020 waiting for them to rent the park.
So in 2021, everything started opening back up. I hooked up with a pretty reasonable contractor who was able to give me some decent bids on these trailers, or at least I thought they were decent bids at the time.
The problem was my estimate of being able to rent the trailers that I had seen up in Columbus went from $5,000 to $10,000. The trailers that I didn't buy in Columbus and had shipped down here went from maybe $10,000 pre-pandemic to $20,000 to $25,000 a piece post-pandemic. By the end of 2021, we probably had sunk over $800,000 in the trailer park with about $7,000 a month in rents to show for it. Funding $7,000 a month on a $10,000 trailer rehab doesn't sound too bad, right? In 2023, we started realizing that a lot of our tenants that we were renting to were either leaving the park or in some cases we had to go through and evict them. Worse off, some of the new trailers that we had rehabbed weren't in a condition that was conducive to renting them out again, meaning we had to sink another $2,000 or $3,000 on tenant turnovers, which started really biting into the $7,500 per month. We even had a couple trailers that had to have brand new second roofs put on them because the first roof ended up leaking absolutely crazy. So 2023 rolls around and I realized that we've had to go through and evict several tenants that we had installed in 2022. And we started getting calls and complaints from the police departments and other government organizations about the tenant quality. I had hired a security individual to come into the park and make sure that the park wasn't running into the similar crime, drug problems that we had when we first started the trailer park. And I found out that no one had watched my high quality 4K security system in well over 1 year. You guys noticed that one of my tenants recently had set fire to the little field next to the trailer park. Thankfully, none of the trailers were set on fire, but in that case, it was a good 5 minutes worth of effort to figure out which trailer tenants threw hot charcoal in the field and set it on fire. So to sum up, in 2023, we've had a lot of problems and we're just not making money on the park. They say that 80% of your income is going to come from 20% of your efforts, and vice versa, 80% of your problems are going to come from the 20% that makes you money. And this park is my 80-20. Not to my favorites, 80 to 90% of my problems and less than 20% of my total portfolio income, which is around $40,000 per month. So we made the choice to entertain offers for the park. And I just randomly threw out to a friend of mine that I would need to get around $1 million to just make my money back. The friend went to another friend and they went to a bank and they came back with an offer of well over $1.25 million. In the end, I'll take a seller finance note for a little bit of money with about $250,000 worth of guaranteed interest, making my total return on the park, less the income that's already brought, right about $1.5 million on a $1.1 million investment. So we haven't lost our shirts on it, but it represents a very hard lesson of dealing with the stigma of a large piece of property. I look back now on 2019 and wish that I just would have bulldozed the park, started all over fresh, and only gone with new high quality trailers that I didn't own. Over the past 6 to 9 months, I've actually talked to multiple trailer park owners and they're all having very severe problems with parks they acquired during coronavirus. In fact, last week I talked to Pace Morby about his trailer park and he has some of the same problems. The only difference is he has much deeper pockets than I do to fix the problems.
Or my first trailer park, it took 4 years for me to finally take a check.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
But if somebody told me that up front, I would have been like, wait, 4 years? I could have deployed that somewhere else. Maybe the guy that's buying this, does he know what he's getting into?
Oh yeah, he absolutely knows.
So this guy's buying it for 1.3 mil. He's gonna go deploy another 700 grand. He's gonna be all into this 2 million. Let's say he's all rented out at he's at 2 million.
He's going to be in this at least 700 a month. His top line revenue is going to be a hair over $30,000 a month.
Okay, so $30,000 a month gross
on 2 million in.
I'm the same mindset. I'm like, if I had something going on like this, significant issues, got caught with my pants down during COVID, and this was my exit strategy, I would do exactly what you're doing and just go, let me purge my feeling about this property, take my 200,000 plus the capital I have in the deal. Yeah. Let's go roll it into something else. And let's tell the story. We made 200 grand on a horrible nightmare.
Yeah.
You're doing exactly what I would be doing.
Yeah.
So today the park's at about a 35 to 40% occupancy, which is just absolutely miserable in this environment. I know a lot of people ask me, would I ever buy another trailer park? The statement for me is no, not in Ohio. Ohio law is very inflexible. I would much rather buy some ground or a property like a trailer park, bulldoze it, start it over with tiny homes, because tiny homes don't have a stigma. It's absolutely crazy, but I wanted to share this story with you and let you know, trailer park's in contract. It's set to close by the end of the month. We'll get 1.25 million on the front end, and then with some interest, it'll get closer to $1.5 million. So the journey for my trailer park's ending. I know the guys that are buying it. They're a great group. They will take it the rest of the way because they have more money than me and they have a lot more people that work for them. But that doesn't mean that every property I have is doing that. We've just made a decision company-wide to cut all of the non-performing properties. So thank you guys for watching.